Okay, hello, and let's start. So today we're going to look how can we get the most out of Qt Creator IDE. And I myself am a C++ developer, and I believe many of you are as well. But just to be sure, how many of you develop in C++? So everyone, basically. Great. Many of these things were already mentioned today because people really like to use tools in Qt Creator. And Lars also mentioned that we're adding more of them. Many of them are also based on Clan, which provides us a lot of great stuff. But let's start from the beginning and then continue what we have now and what we are planning for the future. I just took a screenshot of some of everyday work on C++ project. You can see a lot of useful stuff we have. These are all kinds of tools Creator provides. Many of them allow you to navigate through a project, like the project tree, the locator, the open files. Some of them provide you infrastructure to run and debug your application, but that's a bit separate topic. Debugging is also evolving in Qt Creator, but today we will speak about the set of tools which provide you with information about your code. So many of the tools you see here are based on the information about C++ code itself. So what Creator does is it collects the data out of your project, parses it, creates some representation, and builds the tools on top of it. And we call this huge layer the code model. So the code model is there almost since the beginning of Qt Creator. And later I will refer to this term as built-in code model. For a specific reason, I will tell later why. So it contains quite some parts. First of them is C++ editor, which provides you basic functionality to see and to edit your code. Like highlighting gives you distinguishes like classes from functions from members and highlights them in a specific theme. Code completion helps you to write your code faster. Diagnostics show you possible issues in your code and sometimes give you an ability to fix them really fast. Local references highlight you the references of some local variable in your current file you're working with. And tooltips give you additional information about specific parts of your code, which is not there in the editor, but you can find that out. Code navigation is another really great area. I really love to use follow symbol to go to declaration or to definition. Locator is a great symbol search tool where you can basically type the part of the function name, for example, and it will give you the list of all possible locations you might be interested in, and much more. I will later show also some demos where I will show how these tools can be used efficiently. That's all great, but at some point of time, we thought that we want to make it even greater. We want to make these tools more precise, and we want to go forward and catch up with modern C++ standards. And that's why that's the time when the idea to adopt clan was born. And the clan code model plugin started to be developed. I should say that it has become a successful experiment because since 4.7 it's enabled by default, and you probably all saw it in work. So basically the list is the same, but it has more precise results for your code, supports modern constructs, and also adds quite important features, which might seem small, but they are great. So let's look briefly what can we get from it. One simple but pretty important one is, for example, highlighting overloaded operators. We added some extra points in our styles, and here I have a specific color from overloaded operator, and you can easily distinguish it from the default one that you have for integers. So this might show you that, okay, there is something fishy going on. I want to probably inspect what's going there. And you can also follow it like any other identifier and go to definition of this operator. And yeah, actually, it does something really weird here. What else we have? For highlighting, we can also highlight parameters of your function or constructor call, which can be modified during the call. Here, it is bold and italic, and you can distinguish, okay, the QCore application constructor can actually modify argc. We do not know if it does that or not, but it's possible because it's passed by reference and not by const reference, apparently. Then come the code completion features. One of them existed in built-in code model as well. This is, for example, when we want to complete the pointer type with dot completion. It will replace it by the arrow automatically, but it worked even before. But now we can also do that with shared pointers. And how it works, it will provide you the list of not only members of foo, but also members of shared pointer. Like you will see reset in this list, and you can apply it. And it will automatically replace arrow to dot. So you can continue typing your code. You will not need to reparse it or do anything. It will be just in that list, and you will be ready to use it. And I really like this feature. Tooltips. We have tooltip for auto now, which can be very, very useful. Because some people say, do not use auto. You do not see what type is it. But OK, you can convince them by saying, you always have a tooltip. You can always check what type is there. And you can also follow it. Yeah, we get to some system header. We probably don't want to be there. Oh, sure. Sorry. So let's go on. There was already a talk which mentioned Clazy. They took quite a lot how a powerful tool like this can analyze your code. And these are these inline diagnostics, which can be clan diagnostics, tidy, or Clazy ones. You can change them in tools. Yeah, here they are. You can select all the checks you want. We want to improve this window because Clazy actually also has similar levels of checks as tidy. Yeah, so I think we should expect it in next release with number 49. OK. So let's go back to slides. About code navigation, not much has changed. Some features are not actually in Clan code model because it has a limitation that we analyze only one file using it, and we still rely on built-in code model to gather the complete information about the project. But some of the tools can already utilize Clan capabilities like overview. So here, this tree of global declarations is also built using information from Clan. OK. Another big part of C++ tooling is code analysis and refactoring. I also mentioned tidy and lazy. I already mentioned tidy and lazy tools. But there is a specific use case when you want to analyze the big set of files, for example, the whole project, and you do not want to go in each file. So you have a solution in Qt Creator as well. It's called Clan Tidy and Lazy, apparently. And you can also select the same kind of checks. So they're shared between these two kinds of handling and checking your code. You can analyze them. Okay. So you get the list, the complete list of all found warnings, and you can select if you want to apply specific fixes. And if you apply some of them, you will also have the next round when you can select more and apply more. So it's quite flexible and can be filtered as well if you want to see only one type of the warning, for example. Also, there is a refactoring layer, but I should say it's still mostly based on built-in code model. And Sean already showed you some of these refactoring tricks, like adding a declaration for some function that you have in the code. So I will not go into detail here. And actually, we have a great idea to base this also on Clan. And this was ongoing for quite a long time already. It's called Clan Refactoring plugin. And it is in the source, but highly experimental for now, so we do not ship it. But the idea of that is to use information from Clan. So basically, use the index built with Clan. Index is just a set of symbols collected from your project. And I have checked quite long ago, but it was already 3 times faster than compilation. And every tool which is based on this index will work really fast. So if we manage to get that further and make it even faster, we can get the whole refactoring infrastructure, which will be very precise, because it's based on real compilation. So I have already started to speak about experimental tools, but we have some more of them, and I really think they are awesome. First of them is Clan Format plugin. It was an idea for a long time. There was also an ability to use it in some way in Beautifier plugin of Qt Creator. But now we have decided to put it on a different level. So we have an indentation engine which provides you basically the spaces for next lines, indents your code nicely according to the style that you have. But Clan Format is very powerful library. lib format in this case. And if you can extract the indentation part out of it, you can use all its power for the advantage of Qt Creator. That's what we tried to do, and we had to modify it slightly because from the box it wasn't designed to serve the needs that we had. But in the end, it also provides a lot more than just a simple indenter. So you can, for example, not only indent the lines, but also format them if you have that idea. So I have also a separate example for clan format. So now it handles much better modern C++ constructs. We had some bug reports that indentation in case we have return value on the right was incorrect, but now it is fine. Also in case of lambdas with the same syntax. Yeah, it also supports structured bindings. They are indented properly when you put line breaks here. Initializer lists are much better supported here. The same with indentation. It's pretty fine in this case. And I think the most spectacular results happen when you try to format something which is totally unformatted. Like you just press Ctrl-I here and you get the whole vector of vector of vector properly formatted here. Same here happens with the whole text written in one line. So we just get the format in directly. And that's why we have some idea that we can further extend the plugin and make it handle your code on fly. So you just type everything. You do not press !return ever, and it's just formatted for you automatically. I think it could be awesome. And another tool, which is experimental, is also a separate plugin I wanted to mention, is Language Server Protocol. And it's highly connected not only with C++, but also with Python, which we also had a talk about. Because it supports all kinds of languages, and you need to implement it only once. So if we support all functionality from Language Server Protocol, we can support all listed languages and much more. So basically every language which has language server will be supported. And it's provide quite similar data to what we have in code model. For C++, it is still not enough for us to be used efficiently. But we're evaluating and checking how we can utilize that properly and efficiently. And we will look how it goes on. So that's also a very interesting subject to look for. And I think that was the last thing I wanted to mention today. So thank you very much for listening.
So thank you very much, Ivan. Are there any questions? We have time for questions.
Are you planning to implement some indentation guides, like in Visual Studio or in Notepad++, for example? The lines which are connecting the functions from the brace to brace. It's a visual help. It's a line which is drawn from the beginning of the function to the end, or a code block. Do you know what I mean? You have Visual Studio on the system?
Like this one? Or?
Yes, but not the highlight block function, but the drawn line. Do you have Notepad++? I see it in the taskbar. Please just click Notepad++ down in your taskbar. Start Notepad++, please.
Yeah.
Next to the Chrome browser, and in your taskbar down below. In the Windows taskbar, just click on the Notepad++ icon, the green one, next to the Chrome. The fifth from the left, the third from the right. Left of PowerPoint.
Okay,
Left of
this
PowerPoint.
is the,
The fifth from the left. Start menu, the fifth.
1, 2, 3,
Yes,
4,
this one. No,
5.
the green one. The one and next to
Why
the
do you
right.
need
One to
no,
the right.
but-
Yes,
but-
yes. Click on it, please. So and now set the language to C++ on language, in the language menu.
I will look in my screen better because
Okay.
I do not understand that.
Okay. I think everybody know what I mean. So click on the language, please. Language.
Language.
And C, C++. C,
Okay.
C++. And
be
now
honest-
write something. Int main. Just write something, please.
Okay.
Int main, and then do yes, and oh, it's deactivated. Oh, okay, just write some code. Implement something. Just write some int I and or
Okay.
make an array or something. It's the audience doesn't know what I mean. Yes. Okay. My goal is to have some lines connecting the functions, the indentation lines. It's a visual guideline that's in Visual Studio. It's a Notepad++, and okay.
Well, you can explain that, I think, as a feature request.
Could you please go to Stack Overflow? I've got this. I've got a question about. I put a question about it some month ago. If Qt Curator supports it, so there's a visual example by me. If you we can stop it here. But if you, it would be nice.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Good advice. Yeah.
So there are other questions?
For the Clang static analyzer, do I need to enable some plugin or it's built in already?
Clang tools, it's already default as Clang code model, so you can just use it. You can pick the checks you want. So basically, you select the checks in the configuration window, and then pick the proper set that you want to use, and just analyze.
Okay, and the plugin is called Clang Tools, yeah?
Yeah, it's a plugin called Clang Tools.
Okay.
Because now it includes not only static analyzers. So static analyzer is only a part of Clang IDE.
Okay, thank you.
Was another question?
So we've seen many nice additions, and my question is whether or not you have implemented or planning to implement improvements for metaprogramming code, which trips over many times, and in our code base gives us many false positives. Are there any improvements planned in this area?
Well, we try mostly to rely on what Clang provides to us. So if we do not have this information from Clang, we sometimes can fix it there and upstream that. But that's, a much bigger task usually to upstream something. It takes a while. So we usually try to do that for the most important parts, which are crucial for the user. Like if something crashes, we surely try to do that to solve that as fast as possible. But for templates and there are still issues there sometimes.
Yeah, thank you.
So, is it possible to configure which version of the C++ standard code the code model is using?
Sure. There is a useful part. It's inspect C++ code model, and you can get all possible information here. So this is probably...
Excuse me, what I meant was to configure the code model to highlight the code actually according to the standard.
Okay. The idea of the code model is that it tries to work as close to the build path of your project as possible. So if you build your project with specific version of C++, Clan code model will try to pick the same version. And so that depends on your configuration of in your profile if you use QMake, for example.
Does it support CMake as well?
Yes, yes.
Right. Thank you.
Maybe we have time for another question.
Thank you very much for a nice presentation. I have two questions. First one is, isn't this CLang format model already supported by the beautifier?
Yes, I mentioned that there is a support, but it's a bit different. Beautifier plugin runs clan format executable, and yeah, there is only one purpose of it, to apply formatting on some pieces of code. But here, we first of all embed the library in Qt Creator, so it doesn't require to read the output of clan format. It's done automatically. We just get it very fast, and can also use it, modify the checks on the fly, and do some extra work, some different work from what clan format was designed to do, basically.
Okay. Thank you. The second question is, these features are mainly based on CLang, and our development, in my development team, we are mainly developing a GCC compiler. So stuff like the things come with Clazy, for an example, it does not support GCC, right?
Clazy is exactly a clan plugin. So yeah, it's built on the API that clan provides. So it's very specific to clan. Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'd like to say thank you to Ivan again, also for the questions. And so.